me, kind of wan looking. And my studio in New York, up front some pepper and salt, and way back some bands of steel and metal rods and things. And Ray Thorburn. Ray is from New Zealand, and he's got me running around. Here he is, very satisfied with his first results, which is getting my junk up from the basement 5 floors down. And it consists of motors and steel and various items which are needed to make metal wriggle and waggle and swoop and swell, called figures of motion. And I'm telling Tom Fitzpatrick here all about it. And trying not to hit my thumb while I'm setting up this thing. This thing is a metal blade, called the blade. And it reaches out and touches that composite cork ball there on the left, just down beside it. And it goes clonkety-clonk and wriggledy-wriggle. And here it is in a sequence. That center shape is called a simple harmonic. And the shape on the right is called a double harmonic. I'd just like to make an aside for a minute. For instance, about getting a kick from figures of motion, I think you have to see the real thing to be able to tie in. And its qualities can't be conveyed by photography. This is quite like the way you cannot get the feel of a ballet by seeing it in a film. You have to get the empathy of all that bodily, in the flesh, motion to really feel it in your own sinews and bones. And the same with my stuff. I don't like to see it on film because it doesn't come off, and I don't like to see it on slides. But we have to convey a little bit of an idea about what goes on with my stuff. Here we are, Alphonse Pagano and me, putting up a gadget onto the ceiling. And there's a good shot of Alphonse's back and his kind of patchwork. Not very good tailor, but he's a good artist. And this is the gadget we put up, which is a bike chain and a cogwheel. And it rotates those two things which are sloping there, 2 metal clamps. And we clamped in some metal in that, and we rotated it with a motor to see how the metal bands worked, and they worked pretty well. So we made a more sophisticated turning device. And if you note those 2 clamps pointing in at the bottom there to the shaft, and here they're pointing out. And that's because they swivel as the weight of the metal alters while the shaft's turning. Here they're putting the metal in the clamp, and here it is hanging down. That's a 3-inch band of metal, 3 inches wide, and kind of like razor blade steel, very thin and very flexible. As the top shaft turns, the thing flips inside out with quite a nice noise. Well, I don't know about nice, but quite a racket. And up above here on the ceiling, there's another assembly, and that is to suspend a hanging band of steel and twist it around, called the twister. It goes into that clamp, and here is the twister hanging down. And what am I doing here? It looks as if I'm flying a kite. Well, we'll let it go. And here is that hanging band of steel, which, when it is swelled around and around, it goes into harmonic shapes. And then suddenly the thing is clamped with a brake up at the head, and it straightens out with quite a terrific cascading icy type resonant sound. Now here's another assembly, and I'm getting it ready. And these slides are really shot by Ray to show the engineers what kind of things they have to enlarge and what the principles of the mechanisms are. And here, for instance, I've got a gang of stainless steel rods, and I open them a particular way, and they swirl open and open out into quite a nice plume. And here I'm showing Ray some of the gadgetry, and it ends up with this kind of image called a steel fountain. And it doesn't just stand there. No, it swings back and forth, moving on a well-timed stop, start, back and forth, circling principle. Ray's never finished. Here he is after a hard day's work, and we're settled down for him to tape a interview. Ray's over here on a fellowship to interview artists, amongst other things, and he's got me gazing out into space, wondering what to say next.